Happy holidays to you guys, okay? Good to see you guys training on out on the night. The schedule here is on Thursdays, right? Yeah, opposite days than me. So, this is the time. If you have any complaints, see if we hold it back home for let us know, okay? Sometimes you can talk to the father, but maybe your grandfather easier to talk to, right? And uncle even easier. You know, he take you out to the bar, talk to you. So happy to see you guys training. Anyway, we could be privy to a conversation we've been having all day, because Sisokong, he asked a question. Basically, what would like me to do tonight? I go, your C4, he just requests, could we visit there, like some history. At least we could take pictures, say, oh, we know this guy, okay? So, this transmission of knowledge, you have on the shirt, MOY YAT VING TSUN, martial intelligence. We talk about this a lot today. I wish you could be privy to our conversation. This is a high-level Kung Fu talk. Even us still can't figure out how to transmit this with real velocity, with effectiveness. Very difficult. But we keep working this. MOY YAT VING TSUN is a domain. You guys have it on the shirt. Probably don't understand what is MOY YAT VING TSUN. And martial intelligence is a term coined by him. Martial intelligence, not created by me, by him. So, funny thing, tonight, you'll have him, Master Leo Imamura, and his Todai, to help you understand this. So, this, you know, I'm going to just say this, then I'm going to be quiet, then let Sisok explain more to this. But Grandmaster MOY YAT, he have a unique way help us understand Wing Chun Kung Fu, special Wing Chun Kung Fu. But he said to us, you have to learn from your own experience. And I realized I wouldn't know an experience if it fell on me. So he created something very unique as a method called Kung Fu Life, which was the access to have as lived experience. Once borrowed, now is yours. So this part is sounds like fancy philosophy, but Kung Fu Life actually exists as a method to access how to experience. What I mean experience. Do you have a brain? Yes?
Yes, I do.
You ever see it?
No.
Can you get your hands on it?
Not exactly.
How you know? You see? As experience, you don't have this. As lived, it's theoretical, yes? Yeah. There's my case. How do you experience moment to moment? That's the problem. Easy say, I have to learn from my own experience. Okay, I tell you, I wouldn't have experienced a felony. You don't experience this as floor. It was something to walk on. On the moment, it was something to sit on. Not experience. So, anyway, this you'll have Sisokong help you understand, if you will, please. Little bit we talk about martial intelligence. Okay? So please give him a hand.
Well, good evening, everyone. So I try my best to express myself, not just because the content, but the language. I'm a Brazilian Japanese descendant. So people used to say, if you know 3 languages, you call trilingual, right? 2 languages, bilingual, right? 1 language, American. And no language, Brazilian. We use Portuguese as to express a language which is, even the Portuguese don't recognize when Brazilians speak Portuguese, you know? Even worse than the British and American. But anyway, if you have any difficulty to understand what I'm talk about, please interrupt me, okay? So sorry, but your English is so bad, so I can understand. I don't feel offended, okay? So that's important, because my goal here is serving you to understand the nature of the expression MOY YAT VING TSUN, martial intelligence. And why then they use the terminology or this in your shirt, and why your Sikun, the leader of MOY Bahil clan, decide to use it. I think this is very important to discuss tonight. That means I'm not here to give a lecture, I'm here to discuss with you because yourselves, you have a lot of experience by understanding what it means MOY YAT VING TSUN. So that recollect few facts before. You know when Grandmaster MOY YAT came to US? Everybody knows? No? 1973. Okay. The late Grandmaster, the patriarch of the Wing Chun system, Ip Man, he passed away 1972, December 1st. And in October the next year,
Today?
yes, yes, Grandmaster MOY YAT decided to come to US. But actually, he decided that 10 years ago, 10 years before that day. And his brother, who lived in New York, who was the sponsor, but you know, and the immigration process is very slow. So that means Grandmaster MOY YAT was prepared by the patriarch Iban to come to US. That's a very important point. I didn't know that until our last trip to Hong Kong, and our Sihing, Leon Ming, we call him Main Jai, he talked to us about that. Our Sifu was prepared to spread the Wing Chun. So that's a very important point. I didn't know until last trip. So when he arrived here, he was the first Sifu established in Hong Kong to go overseas. Yeah, 1973. What about Bruce Lee? Bruce Lee came to US in 1959 as a student. Okay, high school student, came here, have a small group in the school and decided to teach. But he's not a Sifu himself. He became Sifu here in US. The same happened with all my students. MOY YAT was the first one who has a Kung Fu family established in Hong Kong and decided to come to America. Okay, so this point is very, very important. So when they arrive in America, few guys start to teach already teaching Wing Chun. But of course, what he saw here is a little bit different than what's happening in Hong Kong. Not in terms of technique, but in terms of the nature. Why? Because in Hong Kong, what he experienced with his Sifu, Ip Man, was what later on he decided to call Kung Fu life. Kung Fu life is a very old concept that comes from Buddhism. That was borrowed by the Confucianists. Then finally they became the nature of many disciplines, which is learning by experience. And in experience, let you have a better consciousness about the reality. And understand through experience, one can have a better life, can understand more, can be more effective, not just in fighting, but in terms of daily life. How to handle simple things in a better way. So basically that's the Kung Fu life. So one day your Siku went to martial place, martial school, and make such claim. There is not self-defense. And people got shocked. Why? I don't mean self-defense. I'm here for self-defense. Are you sure for that? You know? I don't know how many of you guys have had fight experience in adult age. I don't talk about a child, and I talk about adult age. Unless you're a bouncer or a policeman, you know, but regular people like us, no fight. Even him, you know his background, right? So even him, the best fight was the one he didn't fight. You know, that's because the approach is totally different. When you have another concept, which we will discuss later on. But Grandmaster MOY YAT came to US and saw this. He started to help people to spread the nature of Wing Chun, teaching Wing Chun. Of course, the other Sifus didn't feel comfortable with that. So then he decided one thing very interesting. He decided to put his own name on Wing Chun. Why? Because he doesn't want to use his Sifu's name. Why? Because those days everyone want to use Iman's name. To claim, I'm the original, traditional, legitimate, or whatever, you know, make distinction. More powerful, or whatever. So he said, no, my commitment is to my students, my descendants, students and grandstudents. So that's why I don't want to use my Sifu name. I use my own name, MOY YAT. So it's funny because many people think because MOY YAT wants to make himself big. That's why he add MOY YAT in Wing Chun name. Actually, because he's humble. He don't want to force the others to follow his experience he had with his Sifu, Ip Man. So he said, but I have the commitment to provide the same experience to my descendants. So I believe your Sifu will remember in March 2000, couple months before he died, he called all of us to a dinner in Queens, and it was a Friday. I remember very well because I just arrived, like today, I just arrived from Brazil. And he called us and said, you guys has been very unfair with your students. So one brother said, why Sifu? Because you don't have the same experience I gave to you. That means Kung Fu life. Of course, those days, we did understand quite well what he wanted to say there. Because we believe Kung Fu life is hang out, go to dinner, have some, hang out together. But then later on you realize it's much more than that. We discuss this later. But what is important is understand why we have the term MOY YAT VING TSUN. It's a denomination. It's not MOY YAT VING TSUN, because it's not MOY YAT's interpretation, but the MOY YAT commitment to us to provide Kung Fu life through Wing Chun system. Because the concept of Kung Fu life is more, came before than Wing Chun. Maybe 500 years before. It's very, very old concept. Okay. So, by the way, any question about the MOY YAT VING TSUN? I express quite well. Do you guys understand?
Good job.
Thanks.
For Chitagon MOY YAT, did he ever express, since he had passed things along and did not name him after Grandmaster at Mon, he did not, because he was trying not to, just like everybody else, another carbon copy, he was trying to pass along his teachings without giving his own experience. Did he ever express to any of his students for them to do the same, to not necessarily name their schools after him, but to not, because they can't, give them his experience, you can only give them the Kung Fu he gave them, just pass it on. Did he ever express that, to name their schools after themselves, or did he just let things follow their will, and that's why we have MOY YAT VING TSUN martial intelligence?
That's a very good question. Normally, each generation, each Sifu use his own name. But what happened? Our generation, we felt, MOY YAT VING TSUN became the trademark of our genealogy, our lineage. What I mean trademark? Use Kung Fu life as a main subject of our teaching. Because Kung Fu life include even you be very good on Wing Chun techniques. Because it's how to explore your experience in many different aspects of your life, include of course the fighting. So when he said that, few of his students decide to use, we still use MOY YAT VING TSUN. Of course your Si-Kung is on all that. So your Sifu belong to his clan. So he decided to keep it, use MOY YAT VING TSUN. Many other brothers, maybe they use his own name. But because, like Grandmaster MOY YAT, he never forced us to use his idea, because he knows all depends how we are mature to understand his teachings. Some of us even believe we don't need that, because that thing is kind of too much philosophical, too much Chinese, and they decide to use something more technical. It's okay, because all depends the maturity of the leader. Unfortunately, you guys have a great leader, and have another great leader over there, because your Sifu follow very close to your Si-Kung. That's why you're here, I believe. So that's very important. So you guys choose the correct family. Because sometimes when you choose a family, decide to join a family, you just decide because the school is close to your place. Not because the lineage. And we believe the lineage is just because have a genealogical tree and imams in the top, that's okay. It's much more than that. And you guys have to make a good research for that. And internet is not enough. You have to come to check the credentials, and the credentials is not in the diploma or certificate. Unfortunately, the credentials, you have to be there inside to check. So that's, I believe you guys have to do it. And keep on doing. Why? Because your Sifu is working very hard every day to honor your trust on his job, you know. So that's your Sifu is doing. And our Sifu, Grandmaster MOY YAT, we are testimony, witness. We saw this from the day we knew him until when he's passed away. He studied every day. He lived Kung Fu. Okay. So, all depends. If you use here MOY YAT Wing Chun because you want to honor the denomination he created.
I think the word denomination may be a little bit translated from Portuguese. So when we say MOY YAT VING TSUN, that's a domain. It opens a whole world to us. It is as Sisukong, it's not MOY YAT person. MOY YAT is M-O-Y-A-T. So this is not MOY YAT person. This is a domain which was a legacy left as a transmission of knowledge. A pure transmission, which one learns by one's own experience. So that's why it's not someone's name. Don't have to use Jay's Kung Fu, Pete's Kung Fu. No, that's a domain. So that's why you don't have to use a name, each one's name. So actually now you have this, you realize this is not a person. It's a domain. Does that make a difference? It is contrary to people's opinion, not his interpretation of Wing Chun, not his version of Wing Chun. It's a domain. This is why it's so deep. Okay? So I hope that answers.
Thanks. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Any more questions? Because this part is very important. I'm surprised, even between our family, not many people know about that. They believe the way we play, it's nothing to do with technique. Because the technique is all the Wing Chun, looks the same. But the way we explore the technique is different. So, but below the MOY YAT Wing Chun I have expression martial intelligence. So let me explain how we come out with this expression. Because also is another domain, right? So it's very important to know that. All days, our Sifu used to call MOY YAT Wing Chun Kung Fu. But unfortunately, Kung Fu, since David Carradine, people have no clear idea what it means. They relate, of course, with the Kung Fu, Chinese martial arts. But it's much more than that, much more. Because Kung Fu you can achieve in any kind of activity, not just martial arts. So, but martial arts may be so important. That's why people put Kung Fu and martial arts like same thing, you know? But it's a much wider meaning with Kung Fu. And one meaning, I mean more up to date for Kung Fu, you'll be strategic intelligence. Because Kung Fu develops your intelligence. But what kind of intelligence? Still now, the specialists still discuss what the meaning of intelligence. So you have to understand the beginning of the Chinese culture, which is before China be founded. when the intelligence is relayed with how to anticipate the events, how to understand the process, the nature, the flow, the natural flow of one thing, and then you can anticipate what's going on. This kind of thing they call the intelligence. This idea was created as in the Warring States period. You heard about this? Warring States period? Why they call Warring States? Because many small kingdoms, they fight for power. So then one of them unify all that, which is Chun kingdom. So that's why the country become China, right? Or China, what I call in English. So this is very, very important to understand. This kind of intelligence you talk about is a kind of intelligence, no matter what's going on. I know how to anticipate the benefit. Maybe you broke this camera. You see what I said. I got fucked. Sorry. Right? Or not. Because you have to anticipate the benefit of the fact. Maybe because you broke your camera, you have to pay even more attention in my words. You learn even more. Understand what I mean? The fact that you broke your camera doesn't mean it's good or not. Depends on you. Depends on your perspective. Not the fact itself. So this is the Chinese people call strategy. Why strategy is not a group of actions that follow a plan to achieve a goal. In Chinese strategy, you don't have a plan, you don't have a goal, you don't have action. I say again. In Chinese strategy, you don't have a plan, you don't have a goal, you don't have action. So how are you going to do if you don't have all those three? So this part is very important. Why? Because always changing. So you know, if you have a goal, sometimes the goal is during a period is very important, is very fundamental, but later on everything changes. You know, let's say my dreaming is I buy a brand new car, right? 2012. 50 years ago, 50 years from now is empty, right? So my goal is change. So I have to understand very deeply what the goal means. So that's why when they change, we change. If you change, if you set up a plan, a group of actions, maybe is useless. According to the things is trying to change. So the idea is understand the potential of the situation. Since you have understand the potential, understand the situation is gonna change. So you just follow. This sometimes is very difficult to understand. And plus, we can learn by reading, by studying. You just learn by experience. This kind of thing. Because when you read something, maybe it's just like a book. That's why when you read a book, I wrote a book, 1994. Have you read it? My book? No? You did it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. You know? Because I don't believe almost nothing I wrote there. You know? I changed my mind. I don't know for good or for bad, you know? But I changed. So I hope no one of you guys read the book, you know? Because always change. So that's why the internet's better, up to date. Every day you have to up to date, right? Up to date, up to date. Yeah, because I have to up to date. So this part is very important to understand, the strategic intelligence, because it's impossible to learn strategic intelligence. First, it's impossible to teach strategic intelligence. You just learn. So let's say the instructor, the teacher, they only has to do is create a good environment, like your Sifu. When I arrive here, where is your Sifu? In the back, in the office, right? So no Sifu around. Wrong. Sifu was around. Let you learn by experience. But if you see it's some, I mean, in regular life concept, he's lazy, right? He's maybe something else. But we never realize he's here just to provide the place and a correct environment to you guys learn. That's it. Because if you want your Kung Fu good, you have to, you know, work the correct way to achieve that. What it means correct way? I don't know. I'm looking for by myself too. You know, 20 days I didn't achieve that, but you know, try my best to find it. So you guys have to do the same, because each one has their own way to improve your Kung Fu. I was watching you guys. I see many different styles. Each one made different. You know, I don't see anyone play the same, which is very good. That means your Sifu is doing a very good job. Because it's not like you know, some schools everybody do exactly the same. Everybody has your own background, own experience, your own body build. So you have to have different Kung Fu, your own Kung Fu. That's we call, like your circle mentioned before, pure transmission. Pure because we don't put any extra on that. So you guys, if you have different Kung Fu, that means good sign. That means that you go to the right path for the pure transmission. It's opposite everyone think. Have a specific way to play Kung Fu. No. Everyone have to find your own way. But strategic intelligence, you can have any different experience. Any. Even a sexual experience, you can have strategic intelligence. So think about that. Maybe you have an extra motivation, right? Yeah, think about that. But when you have you develop your strategic intelligence through martial experience, what you're doing now. So we call martial intelligence. Not because you apply on martial situation. No, because you learn or you cultivate or you develop your strategic intelligence through martial experience. That's what you are doing now. So you don't come here to sweat or to learn some movements. This is too little. You come here to understand better the nature of things, and you can achieve more in outside world, because the real fight is over there. No, outside there, not here. Here is you have just a symbolic combat. Let's say that. Oh, this is not real. You agree, right? This is not real fight. Real fight, you have to get killed or killed. Nobody wants to be assassin. Yeah, that's important. It's against the law. I don't know here, but in Brazil it's against the law. Yeah, because some schools said, I teach my students to kill. It's against the law. You can do that. So, I think this is, could explain a little bit about the expression of the domain MOY YAT VING TSUN martial intelligence. If you have any question, then I'm open.
Yeah, in Zen we have a concept of non-attachment, and Sigung corrected me earlier tonight about I was anticipating. That's why my POC isn't so good, because I'm waiting to get there. How does that play in? How does that concept play into Kung Fu life by not having expectations or not working towards an outcome and still having an outcome?
You know, I mean, you talk about domain. In Chinese, you have an expression called Ling, which means the domain of the system. Let's say, Siu Nim Tao Cham Kiu Biu Ji Mui Fa Jong Lu Ting Pung Guan En Pa Cham To. 6 domains we have in the Wing Chun system. So the first one is Siu Nim Tao, right? We can say Siu Nim Tao. The translation is
little expression,
little idea, or small expectations. You know why? Because if you have a dining Tao or big idea, maybe you cannot see the circumstance. Because the key, when you have, why Chinese use martial experience to develop strategic intelligence? Because strategic intelligence is based on human development, humanity. In Chinese, you call yang. That means what is important is the relationship. I have to feel the other. I have to let go my ego and understand that you, me, and the other are the same. So that's the only way I can anticipate, right? So I have to feel it. So one thing is very important, the legitimacy of the relationship. When my action is legitimate, when my victory is legitimate, when the other let me win. So the victory is never, what you call, achieved by force or by conquer. Conquer, yes, never. I said, I'm a conqueror by victory, you know? No. The legitimate victory is the one the other offered to you. Can you understand that? Yeah, me too. Yeah. I don't know if I explain well, so because this is some concept. They said, what you call, to be invincible depends on me. To be a victor depends on the other. Or means invincible. I can close my center. I can really prepare myself to don't offer any opportunity to the other. Because if I attack like a crazy, I offer the openings to the other. So I let the other win. So that's a very important point. So to anticipate, I have to pay attention what the other is doing. You know, normally I have a plan. I'm doing this and that, you know, and that. You know the coyote, the cartoon, beep beep. You know, they have a lot of plans, nothing, everything goes wrong. You know, Sometimes I feel like that. You know? I don't know you guys. You know? So, because no plans. The order, you tell me what I have to do. When you see that, you can anticipate the movement. So that's why Wing Chun is so wise. We start, but the distance is determinate, right? No move. So the center line is static. So we know exactly what's going on. Everything is very predictable. Paksao, you know, right? This punch, after this, come off another punch, another punch. How you have so many difficult to anticipate that one? If you know exactly what's going on. So if you pay attention, that means the system create the correct environment to you learn how to anticipate. In other words, how to cultivate your intelligence. You know? And the same happen when you have outside. Pay attention. Everything is cyclical, you know? So you can anticipate what's going on. You know, so I have an overcoat. I use once a year in the US. Why? Because it's cyclical. You know, I can always same period, right? It's winter, so I know. I take them, my overcoat from them, put to get some sun, because it stay on the cabin during all year, because it's cyclical. So I can anticipate what's going on here. That's the idea, basically. Of course, then that's why you start something alternate, punch, punch, punch. Then with lap sounds, change a little bit. Then the others is changing until become more randomic. Right? So it's more difficult. But even with have some randomic situation, you still can anticipate. Why? Because everything is doing a domain. Let's say you can, because there's no real fight. If I have a real fight with you, you know what I'm gonna do? I get this bench, throw in your head. You know, I don't wait to fight you. You know, or maybe run away because you know here is easier way to go away. You know, but that's real fight. When you have some conditions, because the system set up a domain for the condition, or the condition represents certain domain. So that's why after you develop a lot of skill with your hands, you use the pole, you use the knives, you know, because it's very difficult when you use the knife to anticipate, create this kind of idea, even the pole. Okay? So that's why I believe, I don't know, I can tell from him, maybe he can explain better, but I believe that's the relationship, you know, between what he
said it right the first time. Cannot teach strategic intelligence. So you have a good question, everyone has. You have an insight, but it's of no value. Your insight was, as Sikung correct me, I was, what do you call it? Anticipate. So, if you could use this conversation to reframe yourself, there's no bad kung fu. We call this, just young kung fu.
Young kung fu, yes.
So inside of that moment you experience, is where you are. It was a good experience. Now you look at it, there's nothing wrong. Wasn't bad. But you now understand something with this conversation. You go, that's all. That's all it is. Now, that's not easy. Because we have planned. Next time, don't go on it, right? That's different conversation.
There is a professor from Grand Valley University. He specialized in what you call Kung Fu dimension. What happened was a group of sinologists. You know what a sinologist is? Is our word sinologist? People who study China. Okay? China culture. So, leading by Professor Roger Ames from University of Hawaii, they realized most of the classics, Chinese classics, they need revise the translation, that will be revised. Because the first translators, they were Jesuits, right? Jesuits, right? So they have a very strong European influence, even Christian, Greek culture. So they said many concepts are not appropriate for now. So they decided to retranslate using new terms more accurate for the Chinese culture. So one of those professors, Professor Ni, he specialized to study the Kung Fu dimension. So what his job is to see Kung Fu through the classics, Chinese classics. So his work is very interesting. And last year he wrote for the New York Times. I saw your sequence tonight, today. And what he did, he pointed out many different Chinese writers, and they relate with Kung Fu. Because many writers have different idea about Kung Fu. Because Kung Fu is very wide concept. And he lists many aspects. But the first one is the effort itself. Let's say no matter what you do, no matter the result, if you put some effort to do it, this Kung Fu. That's the very basic young Kung Fu, you can see. Then have a lot of different levels. Let's say appropriate effort is the second level. Not just effort, but appropriate. Then goes and then until the last one, which is how you move from
transform.
Oh no, don't transform, but you put from let's say you use here in martial arts, but you apply in another area.
Transport.
Transport. Yes, transport for the another activity. That's the highest level. That's what we try to do here. The highest level. But of course, you have to start. So that's why in the beginning, people sweat a lot, make a lot of effort, the hands are very heavy, because that's the first stage of Kung Fu. Until achieve the other stage. Let's say like your Sikung, like ski, and learn from Kung Fu. Our Sifu learned, and he's a famous artist. He learned from Wing Chun. He never had a formal teacher of any art except Kung Fu. I mean, when I call Kung Fu, I talk about Wing Chun martial arts. But he's a great painter, calligrapher. When did he learn that? From Wing Chun. It's very funny. Because he achieved the highest level of Kung Fu, transport from one area to another area. That's the different levels of Kung Fu.
So tonight you now have a sense, martial intelligence, right? MOY YAT VING TSUN and martial intelligence. Who knew this before they were? Well, you guys of course knew this, right? MOY YAT VING? Besides just like the shirt, right? Now you realize what you have on. You realize what you put yourself into. You sensed it. You recognized it. Couldn't language it, but you sensed there was something. Now you're on the trail. You ate the blue pill? Can't put your head in the sand anymore. See, Grandmaster, we talk about this because I told you, I wouldn't know an experience of development. So that's why he deliberately created this Kung Fu life to really allow us. But remember, notes were not recommended in the lecture. On purpose. You missed the experience. Any questions? Anything about this?
I have a question. I heard you mention Kung Fu life, but I'm not sure whether I heard, if you could describe what is Kung Fu life as it relates to MOY YAT VING TSUN.
Well, you know, Sisu Kong mentioned the philosophy of Chinese, the Buddha, right? The Buddha said that the Buddha inside you already. Kung Fu inside you already. The problem was we were talking about, the Buddha talked about the lack of influence, the lack of you. Consider there's no you. There's a problem right there. So there's a lot to confront. There's a lot to really confront. In the strategic intelligence, you don't influence the outcome. Now I know that's not how you live. You live like you have a plan how to go from A to B, whether your will, intellect, or by brute force, that's your way. My way. As he said, Chinese philosophy have no such model, have no such plan. They look at as totality and let it unfold, carrying them to the reward. What they're good at, like in the art of war, is to look at the condition, the circumstance, the morale, and assess. And let it unfold. Why? Can't have planned, things change. Where we have a propensity to want to do something. See? Whether good or bad. Oh, no wonder we have so much resistance. Life has its own plan. Different philosophy. It amazed me, this book. Make no sense. Tao Te Ching. It just sounds like fancy words. How? Do nothing, get everything done. Wing Chun Kung Fu, even stronger than this. Number one, you learn it in your body. Because Sun Sun. You learn it in your body. They would never fight the war the way we fought America. The surge, that have the troop influence outcome. They want the warrior to fight courageous. They know, put in a situation, cannot escape, they fight fierce. But they also know, work opposite. You fight enemy, cannot escape, they also fight fierce. So maybe design a way they escape, don't fight so hard. When we were in China, we never see statue of the general. Because people say, meant to be. Which to me, highest compliment to the general. Because looked like he did nothing, yet got everything done. Of course here, every park have the statue, the epic event. Different philosophy. So, problem with me, I did not that I don't understand my Sifu's way. I didn't understand my way. No wonder I always resist. Hard, because you have to confront this. You have to confront. You have your way. That's not Chinese way. You're learning Kung Fu. That's not English word. On the floor, you do the same thing. You fight each other, right? It's okay, but that's Young Kung Fu. Very difficult. We talk about they have to have the relationship. You know what? You know how hard it is to have this kind of relationship? Who got a girlfriend here? You know what I'm talking about? Who have a boyfriend here, right? Your girlfriend, you know what I'm talking about. This thing as human have a need to be right. You ever notice? Of course, I'm right, you're wrong. Pretty vicious. No such thing in Kung Fu. This I learned a lot from my brothers because they have more like this, you know. Me? It's a lot of, it take a lot look inside here. That's Kung Fu is an inquiry, a self-awareness, a self-looking. That's why the most important thing always is the relationship. Because we get ourselves in our relationship. They either work or they don't work. That's why no such thing self-defense. How do you constitute yourself as a clearing for people to show up, to allow them to be? How do this? That's not our way. Two energies come together. How make one? That's not our way. So I'm going to penetrate that line, whether to take it, you know, that's our way. Kung Fu is how to achieve the highest efficacy in any situation for the greater good of all. Wow. So now look in your own life, where you work, at home, with your children, with your partners. How do you achieve this? So ultimately, our Sifu finally give us a key. Little did I know how much affect my life. Sampa. The way of the heart. Maybe because I'm too busy way of the fist. How to open this. How to open this. This is a real vulnerability. That was, by the way, if you don't have this caring, you won't stay around long enough to understand anyway. So this is a whole nother conversation, right? This is a whole nother art of living. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy some of this tonight. Right? Difficult to really grasp one, but you're mulling it over. This is good. You're not sure what you have, this is the best. You say, oh, it's great. Yeah, next year you forget all. You say, oh, that guy, he's just full of soup, you get none. But you walk out, you're just not sure what you have. That's the best. Because then in your life you need it, it pop out. So this is something where you guys are. What I talk about tonight. Center line. You know, every time I travel a lot with Grandmaster, you know what he always talk about? Center line. We go somewhere, he talk about center. I say, oh no, don't tell me Then one time, I don't know how many years, decade, 15, who knows, something happened. He's talking about center line. Then it happened. Oh! Center line! Why didn't you say so? You know, something happened. Something totally happened. So good. Thank you. And this will help a lot, right? Now, look at the domain YAT VING TSUN and martial intelligence. So now up to you guys really study this. Kung Fu, strategic intelligence. You know, the eagle captured the bird. Francois Julian talk about this, you know. Boom! You go, wow, this is good timing. They don't see it like that. They see this as something that unfolded way back here. But we miss this. So you don't influence squat. Even you want to plant your little tree, right? Have your wheelbarrow, have your dirt, have the shovel. You plant in the wrong condition, in the wrong season, it won't grow. You need strategic intelligence. It's the same in Wing Chun. That's why we could look on the floor right away. We could tell why it's off. But in your own experience of it, where you have power in life, you could see the same thing. We talk about not enough integrity around the condition. Not enough, something's wrong. Nothing works without integrity. Cup won't hold water without integrity. Watch won't work without integrity. You know, like a law in the universe, like gravity. Whether you agree or not, you jump out off the roof, right? Ass hit ground. Yeah, nothing works without it. I don't mean like not like an indictment, not just you could look at a condition, a circumstance, a relationship, and very quickly realize why there's no workability. See, that's effectiveness. Not enough integrity around a condition. You need this strategic intelligence really clear. And where you'll get it? In relationship. Very difficult. Anyway, we're working on another project because he said this is a modern way to language. Grandmaster's way, when he used to simply say you have to use your brain. So it's a nice modern way. Neuroscience now allow us to language Grandmaster MOY YAT's simple way. So we're working on this project that I assert that you can be able to access this very quickly. What would take you 8 years, take you a year. So this kind of hard to language, but we're working on this. With all of these brains, we can put this together pretty nice. And also, Sisokong come out with the Red Book project. Basically, they do a lot of the groundwork. Of course, use all our family, but they really do a nice job. This is very important to understand the genealogy. There's a time we talk about another time. Very important. Even in my young day, I didn't care where it come from. Who the hell cared? Shortest distance between 2 points was all I was concerned about. But now I realize a lot more because my Kung Fu was young. So we have this project. And now the next project is I saw a nice copy, the 10-year...
10 times 1.
10 times 1. And this is a pictorial but deep insight of the value and the deep transmission of Grandmaster MOY YAT in the family of Brazil. The effect. So come out soon. You'll like it. I got privy to it. And we have a book also coming out very soon. YAT VING Martial Intelligence. Really help your guys language this. Okay? So, this is not for us. This is for you guys. For you guys. Then you can do whatever you want. Any questions tonight? Not what you expect, huh? It'll be different. You won't find these conversations anywhere else. That's why we always say, if anyone going to make a difference in your life, in your family, in your community, it's going to be you. There's nobody else having these conversations. This is not how to kill someone. This is how to live a life that's worth living one that's powerful, and one that you love to live. See, that turns me on. And to see your life work, and to see you have a successful life, knowing that you make this profound difference on this thing called planet. Yeah, sweet. So, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.